Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Wendy Historian and today we are talking about the closest thing we ever got to a One Direction Christmas song. Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night. This time of year it is absolutely impossible for Directioners to think about anything other than the utter tragedy that we never got a One Direction Christmas song. After all, the boy band Christmas single is a long-standing tradition in pop music.
Merry Christmas.
The fact that the closest thing we ever got to a One Direction Christmas single was makes them kind of an anomaly. But did you know One Direction actually did feature on a Christmas single in 2014? That was when they teamed up with Bob Geldof for the Band-Aid 30 project. What is happening with this hat? Let's rewind. In 1984, there was a truly devastating famine in the eastern African state of Ethiopia. This was way before the advent of social media and the World Wide Web as we know it today. And so back then, a lot of humanitarian crises around the world went unnoticed by people in other countries. The media played a huge role in ensuring that people were educated on issues where aid was desperately needed. And thanks to efforts by BBC journalist Michael Burke, the English-speaking world was made aware of the famine, which included British rocker Bob Geldof from Boomtown Rats. Geldof decided that the best way to both educate the public on the famine and raise money for relief was to record a single and release it, with all proceeds being donated to Ethiopia. He invited some of his musician friends like Bono and Phil Collins and even George Michael to join him on the track as a supergroup called Band-Aid, and thus the star-studded single Do They Know It's Christmas was born. It is worth noting that in recent years, the song has faced some criticisms of being problematic due to cultural insensitivity, wherein it paints the continent of Africa with a broad brush of sameness, as well as elements of white saviorism. And whatever the heck is happening in this line. But at the time, this single and its extremely provocative music video that featured actual footage from Ethiopia was wildly successful in raising money for charity, and it raised £8 million in 1 year, which is £24 million in today's money. In fact, the campaign was so successful that it actually inspired the now iconic song We Are the World by US for Africa. Do They Know It's Christmas was re-released a few years later, and then a few years after that during the 20th anniversary, and then a few years after that for the 30th anniversary. And it was that 30th anniversary edition that One Direction featured on.
It's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid.
They appeared alongside a plethora of artists that included Rita Ora and Sam Smith and Ed Sheeran and Ellie Goulding, and so many more. The lyrics of the 2014 version were even slightly modified to reflect the Ebola crisis, which is the crisis that this single was raising money for. One Direction had a long history of being involved in charity work. During the recording, the boys expressed just how important charity work was to them and how honored they were to be part of this group.
We're all just so honored to be involved in such an incredible cause.
While we Directioners were just happy to have a Christmas single that we could sort of call our own, and happy that we could follow in our boys' footsteps of charity and humanitarian aid.